Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This has been my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, June 11th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, KLTO. Talked about this one in yesterday's video, and the volatility continued today. Although I will say that from a presentation standpoint, this is a very tricky chart to talk about because it's all about perspective. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you're buying up around here and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well, from that standpoint, that perspective, the chart is an absolute train wreck. Now, if you care about things from the bigger picture point of view, yes, there is no doubt about it, a big pullback here. But again, emphasis on big picture from the overarching standpoint, everything is still perfectly fine. Because if you look at where the lows were here today, and then you look at these lows, and then you look at that low, and then you look at the lows from right here, and then if you envision each one of those as stair steps, what do you have? Again, emphasis on big picture. From the big picture, you still very clearly have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. Again, I am well aware that if you are some sort of day trader and you bought right there, you don't care about these stair steps. That's why I'm trying to offer up the perspective and distinguish between more of a day trading, very narrow time frame versus somebody that cares about a bigger picture point of view. So just keep that dynamic in mind that assuming you care about the grand scheme of it all, the bulls are still hanging in there. In terms of areas of resistance, as far as if there is going to be any sort of attempted bounce back upwards, really seems that in the very near term right now, sellers keep stepping up right around this $2.18 mark. So keep an eye on that in the near term. And right now, in my opinion at least, it's not necessarily about breaking levels of resistance. It's all about trying to ensure that an overall higher base does ultimately get built. So let's see if the price can get that job done over the next couple of days. Next one, NCNA. Talked about this one in yesterday's video, and the big movement continues. Great price action, great volume, and definitely some patterns here need to now be mapped out. Last 30 minutes here. Now, one 30-minute candle does not make or break a chart, but worth at least noting that this 30 minutes here, sellers did show up, and within showing up, actually pushed the price down below that nice little trend line right there. Again, does this dynamic here, where it's broken down below that trend line, ultimately destroy everything? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's not quite as pretty as what it could have been had the price stayed above that level. But moving into next week, key area of resistance, or I'm sorry, not next week, but into tomorrow, key area of resistance right there. You can see that this trend line here has done a very good job of forecasting where the sellers have been. So if this, come back up, if this continues to come back up, gets to that level and breaks through it, no guarantees, but certainly valid to throw out the question that, hey, if the price breaks through that level, could that be one of those momentum generation points? And yeah, I could see it behaving in that manner. As far as areas of support are concerned, nothing fancy here, but preferably speaking, let me change that to green for support. Ideal level you want to see hold strong is that area right there at 0.111. Just based off the fact if the price were to come down there, then yeah, maybe you get some sort of double bottom bounce. So there's bottom one. So does the price come back down here and then give double bottom two? Of course, no guarantees, but certainly valid to throw out that as a potential suggestion. But big picture wise, assuming you care about the bigger picture trend, the price put in higher highs and higher lows today, and that's the name of the game. Next one here, CARM, and like I said, this is why I like to do these when the markets are open, because yes, check out this final 30 minutes. What a big move up. You can see down here, volume is pouring in. Market still does not close for another 10 minutes, so 10 more minutes to see just how big this volume bar gets. But at the end of the day, this is all about one dynamic here, because yes, there was a nice trend line here going into, so just very quickly, let me just draw. So what was, I thought I was going to be talking about was this right here, the bull pennant pattern. But very clearly, you can see that the bull pennant pattern has actually broken out and is now, well, the rest is history. We're witnessing it right now. But this does all now lead to the very, exciting question. All right, yeah, it's broken, but is this, and when I say this, I mean, all this right here, but is this the start of something even bigger? Now think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question if nothing worthwhile is even happening. But in this situation, something worthwhile is happening. Therefore, it makes it more than valid to at least throw out the question, hey, is this the start of something way bigger? To be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing totally rolls back over. But again, to be fair, that is a two-sided coin. Maybe this thing is getting ready to rock and roll, and this is just the beginning of a whole nother bigger move to the upside. So the dynamics are here. You got the breakout, you got the volume. So yes, is this the start of something even bigger? Grab your popcorn for Wednesday. Next one, NVTS. Talked about this in yesterday's video and that bull pennant that I just talked about previously. And you can see that today, yeah, it did indeed get the bull pennant. Came up here, broke through there, went up there. A little bit of a pullback, but overall, good solid bull pennant breakout. So I'll go ahead and get rid of those levels as they serve their purpose for now. And moving now into Wednesday, the ideal level for me to say, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best going forward would be if the price continues to hold above that trend line right there. You can see that's where it started, and then by connecting that point, did a fantastic job of forecasting those areas of support. Now, let me be very clear, though. If the price falls below that level, that doesn't mean the entire chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But yeah, if the price could stay above there, that would be a very, very impressive sign of strength. Overarching key level that you'd want to see hold, preferably is all about that purple line right there. But I say preferably there because even if the price were not to hold above that, well, then from the big picture standpoint, you still have the pink line down there, the 200 period moving average. But yes, preferably, I don't think anybody wants to see it going down there to visit that. But like I said, technically speaking, the price could still even break below that purple line and be okay from an overarching sense. But best case scenario would be if the price does continue to stay above that trend line right there. In terms of levels of resistance, main battleground to watch right there at about $8.50. But all in all, higher highs and higher lows is the name of the game. Next one, NVDA, and not a whole lot of new things to report here, as the levels I've talked about in past top 10 videos still are, totally in play. Mainly this level right there at the 144.75 mark. So, price didn't even really get any, well, I guess it got somewhat close to it right there, but didn't do battle with or anything like that. But nonetheless, continue to watch 144.75 as a main area of resistance. The dynamic here that's good to see hold strong continues to be that purple line right there, 50 period moving average. Now, it's a little tricky because the price does, kind of poke its head down below there, but every time the price has gone slightly below that purple line, the buyers have stepped back in, pushed it back above it, and that's a good sign that there are still plenty of buyers hanging around out there. So continuing to be, moving forward, want to see the price maintain above that purple line. But like I just talked about, not the end of the world because you do still have that pink line down there, that 200 period moving average. But, I'll assume I speak for quite a few people. Nobody wants to see the price come all the way down there and revisit that. You want to see at least stay in a little bit of a tighter range. I'm just saying that sometimes you don't always get, what's preferred. But staying above that pink line would still technically be healthy, assuming you care about it all from the bigger picture standpoint. So good to see that purple line continue to hold. It's creeping its way up to potentially doing battle with 144.75. So we'll see what happens. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here just in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage there that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, looking at EVGN, and I've already talked about this in a previous one, so I'm going to go through this a little quicker, but I was planning on talking about this pattern right here, which we can see is a bull pennant pattern, but perhaps you've noticed that during the last 30 minutes, so it's been quite the eventful 30 minutes here across the board, the price is now broken up through that level. So therefore, we now get to ask ourselves that question, which you've already heard, is this the start of something even bigger? Just to reiterate, there are no guarantees, so maybe this thing is a false breakout, rolls back over. But again, to be accurate, maybe it is the start of something bigger, and this thing gets rocking and rolling. So if you like bull pennants, if you like these situations where the bull pennant's just starting to break, so you do get to ask yourself that question of, is it the start of something bigger, and you like stocks down below $5, here you go. Next one here, PLUG, and we have, again, one of these situations where very difficult to talk about because it's all about perspective. Day traders, flippers, scalpers, buying right there, wanting to buy and sell within 10 minutes. Yes, from that angle, the chart looks absolutely terrible because there was ultimately a pullback, but even with the bigger pullback here, and if we once again look at where the lows are, so we have a set of lows there, we have lows here, we have lows here, we have lows down here, and if we envision each one of those as stair-steps, well, like the previous one, I know I'm going through this quicker, but you've already heard me say this, so I want to honor your time as best as possible. But yeah, if we envision these as stair-steps, well, there you go. From the overarching standpoint, the stair-steps are still progressing in the upwards direction. So assuming you're not some sort of, flipper that bought right there, well, you should be already stopped out already. If you're not using stops, well, that's a whole another topic. But point being that, yes, overall, the chart and trend is looking absolutely fantastic. Yeah, there is a bigger pullback today, but as I've said before, higher highs and higher lows is the name of the game, and that's what this one's been doing. Next one here, GELS, and here in this situation, we have a pattern that is not quite broken out. So finally, I get to draw a pattern and just talk about, hey, here's the pattern. Let's see if it can break out. A lot of these, the patterns, like I said, have already broken out today due to that last 30 minutes. But we have this nice lower trend line right here. And then across, we have this area that seems to be the main battleground here. So I'm going to keep this the same color so we can see the pattern a little bit easier, or hopefully we can. So there is our resistance. There is our support. There is the big move up right there. And if I put the golf hole down here, we have ourselves a bull pennant pattern. Essentially just the psychology being, nice move up. Now you're getting some consolidation. So ultimately, does this consolidation lead to a breakout, which you've already seen on a couple of these other ones. So you get the idea there. But that's essentially what we're looking for. No guarantees that it'll break out, but with the surge of momentum, now some consolidation, it becomes at least a valid, question to throw out there on if it breaks, will it go? So keep your eye on this one if you like bull pennants. Next one, MRIN, same exact thing, but I'd say the biggest difference here is this one is knocking on the door, breaking out. So it's right there. The market is now officially closed. So yes, this closed a little bit below that level. So there is nonetheless the top part of the pattern. Here's the bottom part. And let's just convert this to the same color. So we have resistance, we have support, we have the big move right there, we have the golf hole down here, and we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. This one is knocking on the door. Does it get the break on Wednesday? We'll see what happens. Next one, TSLA, and a big eventful day today, at least within the world of charts, and this will mean more to those of you that have watched past videos, but talked about this key level here which was a very stubborn level. In fact, that's the level that really smacked it down hard right there, but that was valued at 322.75, and you can see that this afternoon, not only did the price approach that level, but it's actually now pushed up through there a little bit. So yes, in this sense, is this the start of an even bigger move where I could see this move potentially now grinding up to maybe the pink line there, 200 period moving average, currently valued at 336.70, we'll call it. No guarantees, but yes, this was, in my opinion at least, a very significant break. You can see the last 30 minutes right here, good solid volume. So we'll see if this does all indeed lead to some more upside pressure here. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. And also just adjust this level up to this level at that point, which the 314 mark would be what I'd say would make this chart look the strongest right now. Because even if the price came down here and then bounced, you'd basically have, feel free to disagree with me, but essentially a cup and handle form if it were to do something like that. So cup and handle is another way you could look at this one, which is, again, as wise. That 314 is important. But overall, good solid movement, good solid past couple days. So let's see if this can continue to grind back higher. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely go get signed up for the class. Whoops, I lost track of where my cursor was. But it'll be this Thursday, June 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. And as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy, make sure you hit that like button. And also, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications, because I have been live streaming. So if you're interested in seeing me trade live or just hang out, ask me questions, like I said, in the live stream, then make sure you hit the subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when I do indeed go live. And yeah, if you show up, say, hey, I'm here from the video charts, and I always appreciate feedback like that. So thanks for watching. Make sure you get signed up for the free training. Have a good one.